Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gaming Lounge Podcast, episode 53. Once again, I'm your host, Sebastian, and as always, I'm joined by Dory. How's everything going, Dory?
Hello, it's me. It's been a busy week, what with Andor wrapping up, and then also, of course, Doom is out. Sing the Doom song, Doom, 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 Doom. And yeah, it's been eventful. We've had some Kingdom Hearts 4 news, amazingly, and we're gonna talk about that as well as, of course, Doom. And we'll also talk about some news concerning Stellar Blade and a couple other things here or there. But yeah, I'm doing great. I'm just trying to keep Xena from barking. But other than that, yeah, I'm looking forward to, especially to talk about Kingdom Hearts and Doom.
All right, so let's start with the Stellar Blade on PC news. So, I think we talked about this before in a previous episode, but Stellar Blade's coming out in June on PC. Dory beat it last year. I haven't played it yet because I was waiting for the PC version, and I said I was gonna wait until the PC version in June, and there we go. Basically, it got leaked, the trailer for Stellar Blade. No, we already knew it was coming out in June, but somehow, like, I guess they didn't reveal like the features or whatever, so that was new. But I'll just talk about it. So the basically what they said is the graphics are better, the performance is better, there's better frame rates, better textures, they're more high res. There's ultra wide support, and there's DLSS and FSR upscaling, which give the game better visuals. And it's going to have full dual sense support, so it's going to have the triggers and the vibration, and you can fully customize your controls on the keyboard, mouse, and controllers. So there's some new content coming to the PC version. I think it's coming to the PS5 version as well. There's a new bonus boss battle with a character named Man. There's an unlockable new outfit for Eve, and there's 25 additional costumes that are included. Now the PC specs, to keep it simple, the minimum you need to have a 1060. You need to have 16 gigabytes of RAM, and you need to have 75 gigabytes of space, and you need to have decent mid-range CPU. But the recommended specs are the 2060 or the RX 5700 XT. So basically, you don't need a high-end computer to play this, was what it's saying. I think a lot of people have 30 series or higher, so you should be able to play this just fine. Now, the first thing that comes to mind with this game being on PC is the mods are going to be absolutely wild. I don't even want to imagine what people are going to create from this game, but I'm excited to play it. I heard great things about it. I know it has issues with the ending and stuff, like the final boss, but I am interested to play it. I'm excited. I'm happy it has ultra wide support, and it feels like a great June game because June doesn't have a lot. I mean, you have the Switch 2 coming out, and you have Death Stranding 2, but I'm not getting Death Stranding 2 on launch, and Mario Kart's not going to be like a game that takes up a lot of my time. I feel like it's Mario Kart. It's like something I play with friends or family or my students. So June's like a great month to play this game. Any interest in playing this story? And again on PC?
No, typically I don't go back to play games I've already beaten. When I consume a thing, generally it's done. It always weirds me out when people are like, I'm gonna watch the same thing I've already watched 7 times. I mean, I get people have comfort stuff and games and whatnot. I mean, I've done that with Kingdom Hearts, right? But generally speaking, I just don't have enough time in the week. I like to do a lot of things, not just one thing. So yeah, I doubt I'll go back to it, but I really liked a lot of the gameplay. I did not like the second half or last quarter of the game. The ending was sequel bait. The final boss was bullshit, and yeah, those mods are gonna need their own website. Is what I'm gonna have to say, and it's gonna have a nice little drum intro. Anyway, so yeah, it's gonna be a mess. But I am happy it's coming to more people, and it's a great game. There are some parts I did not care for, but the soundtrack's a bop. So if nothing else, this is your cue to re-listen to the soundtrack, especially one of the Oasis songs, which is like a really funky, jazzy time. Yeah, I won't go back to it, but I'm glad it's there for more people. I think it's really cool that they're adding new stuff. They're adding more costumes, adding a boss, like you said. Ultra wide support, like you said, is big for you. So yeah, that's cool. Not a lot to say. It ran beautifully on my PlayStation. I'm sure it would run fine on my PC if I really wanted to play it again. And I mean, I'm not completely against it, but I'm not in a hurry to do it either.
Also, be mindful, not that we have an audience from these countries, but it's banned. This game's banned in 130 countries on Steam and Epic Game Store, so you won't be able to play it in a lot of these countries. Um, not like I don't see like obviously the United States or like Japan or anything like or the UK or anything like that. Where like most of it are like our audience people that watch us would be mainly the United States and the UK. So I don't see a ban there, but there's definitely a ban for this game in a lot of countries. So just be mindful of that. I mean, sure, it's what you expect. A lot of these countries are like, you know, strict governments, dictators, communists, kind of, so on and so forth. But just be mindful of that. All right. Moving on to Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time Remake. So we got an update on this remake, and it's coming out in March of next year in 2026. It was originally planned for 2021, but it faced multiple delays, and it was handed over to a brand new studio for an entire rebuild. So they had to start from scratch because it was a disaster, from what I heard. And it's now being remade from the ground up using a modern engine, and it has improvements to its combat, its visuals, and its storytelling. While fans are excited to see it return, there is still some uncertainty about whether key original developers or voice actors are involved. Full reveal is likely coming very soon, most likely during Summer Game Fest. I feel like that's a safe bet. If Ubisoft does their own show, which they probably will, I think it's a safe bet you'll see this game with full gameplay and all that. I mean, it's coming out next year, so it's got to be something to show for it. It's been in development for a while now, so. Dory, any interest in Prince of Persia, and do you have any history with Prince of Persia?
So I mean, I never played it back in the day. Back in the day, like I never played like the original ones. It's really based off of. I I remember Prince of Persia being a big deal in the mid 2000s, and I remember the commercials, and I remember X Play talking about it
Mm-hmm.
and it being featured on G4 a lot. I don't know if I ever played Sands of Time. If I ever did play a Prince of Persia game, it was that game. But I don't remember if I did or I didn't. I couldn't say for sure. But I am excited about this. I'll definitely play it. And
That's the first one.
it's Ubisoft. I know. I was just about to say that. I just realized it. But I am still interested. And I still am thinking about checking it out at least. It is Ubisoft, which is a dent against it because I don't really like supporting Ubisoft. But I'll see. I'll see how it goes. I'll see what it gets. I almost bit on Shadows as well, and I didn't end up doing that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Prince of Persia is one of the best games of all time. I really like the sequels as well. I grew up with them. I played the first one on Xbox, I want to say, or at least it was PS2. It was one of the two. I think I played on both. Either way, it was a great game. It was so much fun. It was such a unique game because I can't think of many games where you can run on walls and do crazy stunts, and platforming in that game was so awesome. I mean, I love that it had like a rewind feature. The gameplay had unique camera angles and unique combat that kind of doesn't age well if you play it today, but it's still unique and it's worth the playthrough if you're on PC, or like I think there's a PS3 collection as well if you want to play through the old games. But it shows his age a bit, but it's still a really fun game. And I think the one problem I don't like is the puzzles. There were times in the first game where the puzzles were really confusing, especially in one part. But otherwise, it's a really great game. It's one of the most iconic games, of course. I had a movie for it as well. Um, I'm really excited for this. This is one of the best franchises Ubisoft has, I think, and I'm excited. that it can make a comeback and actually become a franchise again. It's been a while, and it's really fun, and I think Ubisoft needs to try something different besides Assassin's Creed all the time and Ghost Recon. Like it'd be nice to have something different for once. So I'm excited to play this, and I'm curious what it's gonna look like. Hopefully, it looks way better than the original version that we saw. Because that one trailer we got was horrendous. It looks so bad. Like I no wonder why it was scrapped. It got like massively destroyed by gamers and fans. It looked really bad, and I was one of them. Not that I attack people online or anything, but I definitely thought it looked terrible. So I'm glad that they scrapped it, and I'm just curious what it looks like now. But there is something there. Like the gameplay is really fun. Like it's very unique. It can stand out. There's a hidden gem there for the series. I mean, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown was a huge hit. I won't say huge hit. It didn't sell as well as they hoped, but it was critically liked, and people who played it generally really liked it. So it was a great game, but it's not the same thing 'cause it's a Metroidvania. So this one is not. This one's a 3D platformer, 3D action game. So I'm curious what it's gonna look like. So we'll see. But Ubisoft never makes like masterpieces. They never make amazing games. The best games they usually make tend to be like 8 out of 10s, which is totally fine. But they've never made like mind blowingly good game from in a good while. And I hope we see Splinter Cell, but that's not part of this. All right, moving on to Kingdom Hearts 4 news, which just randomly happened this week. All right, so first thing we got was cancellation of Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. Well, first of all, I've always had an issue with Kingdom Hearts tying so much lore to mobile games and games that are not accessible to a lot of people, and it really annoys me. Like a lot, like especially a lot of story elements in Kingdom Hearts 3 were tied to that as well, and there's just a lot of cliffhangers and open and just like mysteries left open, and it frustrates me because first of all, it's one of my favorite franchises, and the second, I feel left out that I have to go find. I have to like watch videos and read essays about like to understand the lore when I don't even need to do that if I can just play the games myself. You know what I mean? Because I never had a problem
Yeah.
with the games I actually
I
played.
yeah, I will say, I mean, really, Kingdom Hearts 3, there's only really one major part where you'd really need to play Union Cross, which is very late game. Generally, it stands on its own,
It
but yeah,
does.
that part, if you don't play Union Cross, you're kind of like, what? Who is this character? Why should I care? Who are all these people? What the fuck is happening, right?
Well,
Um,
yeah. I mean, some of the characters that pop up in the game,
yeah,
I don't remember their names, but like the little stuffed animal looking thing, the some of the
yeah,
characters they were like from the mobile games, and I had no
yeah.
idea who they were.
I find this incredibly annoying too. I don't like mobile games. I refuse to play them. I don't know why Nomura is so focused on doing this. I wish he just. I know that they have multiple teams, but I just wish they'd focus all their efforts on a Kingdom Hearts 4 instead of doing that. It does actually kind of sound like that's what they're going to do now
Yeah.
with the cancellation of Missing Link. I don't know if they just need more hands on deck or they just feel like Missing Link isn't worth it. I don't know. But either way, they canceled Missing Link, and I don't really care because I watched those lore videos once in a blue moon if I really need to. And I think a while ago I watched some Union Cross, like a long time ago. I watched Union Cross lore video, and it was entertaining. It was fun, but like, yeah, that's what to do if you don't want to play those mobile games. Like I don't want to play those mobile games, so I just watch lore videos or I just see like people just sum it up. Like I ain't reading any fucking essays or watching like 20-minute videos. Like I'll, as long as it's a quick video, and I'll reference some of the YouTubers later on. But like I watch like BioRoxys and Gamers Joint, and both of them have been doing Kingdom Hearts content for quite a while, so they're pretty reliable about summarizing it in an accessible way. But yeah, I feel you though. I mean, it sucks. I hate that they do it, and I wish they wouldn't. But unfortunately, it just seems like they're always going to come back to mobile games because for some reason they just keep courting that audience over and over again, and it's really annoying.
For sure. And I think Square Enix is trying to streamline their franchises now. They're struggling with their money apparently. Like it sounds like they're making everything more multi-platform now, and I feel like they just want Kingdom Hearts 4 out now. Like that's the priority because they probably maybe they don't see the value in continuing the mobile trend of Kingdom Hearts. Maybe they see that Kingdom Hearts 4 can be a seller, and maybe it's getting close to getting closer to getting finished. So they want to just all hands on deck. Let's get this out now. Let's make this our priority because they're working on Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, and no more. Now you can say, well, Square Enix has multiple teams, so why would that affect Final Fantasy VII? How does that play together? But like, Nomura is in charge of both, so like obviously, I would assume he's prioritizing. I'm sure he's working on both, but I'm sure he wants to prioritize one of the two. You know what I mean? So I'd imagine Kingdom Hearts 4 has been in development a while, so that's might be the priority.
Yeah,
I'm sounding optimistic, I guess, but I'm hoping that
yeah,
like it's been 6 years since Kingdom Hearts 3, so there's got to be more substance to this game. It's got to be closer to being finished than Final Fantasy 7 Part 3, right? I mean, it's been 6 years. We got the trailer to this game what in 2021, 22. So there's plenty of time to have realistic expectations of this game. I think it's time to see more. I mean, it's not like it's not like it's been a year and we're being unrealistic. It's been 6 years since the last game. Enough is enough. It should not be taking 6 years to do Kingdom Hearts games. Like I
yeah.
love
This
Kingdom
is
Hearts.
a general issue with AAA games, but
Yeah,
when it came to Kingdom Hearts 3, like they basically started over again.
yeah,
But with this one, it's perplexing. There's really no reason it should be taking this long. I'm sure eventually a story will come out about why it's taken this long.
yeah,
But for right now, it's just completely confusing because they have the engine, they know what they're doing. It's been about 5 years since they showed that preview.
yeah,
So I think that Square is just waiting for the time that they actually know the concrete release date, and that's why they've been so radio silent.
yeah.
I agree with the Gamers Join on that, and yeah, I hope that's the case. I mean, I'm hoping to hear something either at worst by Tokyo Game Show, which is later in the year in Japan, of course, or ideally at Summer Games Fest, which is, I mean, right around the corner. So, I mean, but we'll see if that actually happens.
I mean, we've literally gotten three Final Fantasy games, huge ones.
We're gonna get that third one before we get Kingdom Hearts 4.
That's
Mark my
crazy.
words on that one. It's
Because
absolutely crazy. They've gone through the whole fucking trilogy of remakes before they got to Kingdom Hearts 4. Really shows Square's priorities, in
yeah,
my opinion.
Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in
And I love
2019.
Final Fantasy. Sorry to interrupt. And I
And
love Final Fantasy. Just to be clear, I love those games.
yeah.
But I'm more of a Kingdom Hearts fan than I am a Final Fantasy fan. And we're dying out here. We're in a desert. We're all dying. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in January 2019. So it's basically been more than 6 years because they finished that
Yeah.
game like
Yep.
2018. So I would assume. So there's no way like there's nothing like there's got to be something. I mean, it's
Yeah, Melody of Memory came out October 2020. That was the last like full game, and even
yeah,
that's kind of a stretch.
yeah,
And then the Remind DLC came out in 2020 as well, I want to say.
yeah. That's all right.
Yeah, January 23rd, 2020. It came out like a year later. So yeah, it has been almost 5 years since we've gotten anything Kingdom Hearts, which is crazy. I mean, for this series, I guess it's not that crazy, but like in general, it's like wild. But yeah, it's frustrating. I don't really know what's
I
going on
feel
at Square.
I, I feel like
So
only recently though. I mean, I think when we were growing up, Kingdom Hearts wasn't like 6 years apart. Like we had plenty of
no,
games.
I mean, people meme on it for Kingdom Hearts 3 taking a fucking long time, but also like they were making side games like the whole time, and when they weren't doing the side games, they did the awesome remasters. So
Yeah,
there was always a reason why KH3 wasn't coming. I'm not saying it was a great reason or that they should have delayed it for as long as they did,
yeah.
but there was always a reason why it got delayed for as long as it did, or there was always a
Sure.
reason. So
Because I'm thinking like Kingdom Hearts 1 came out in 2002, and then like Chain of Memories
yeah,
was like 2004, and then like Kingdom Hearts 2 was like 2006, and then Birth by Sleep had to be like what 2008, 2007, something like that.
yeah.
So we had Kingdom Hearts games like almost every 2 years. Dream Drop Distance kind of had to be in the early 2010s. So it was
Yeah, it was
consistent.
for it was for the 3DS. So
Yeah, and then 358 over 2 days was like somewhere in between that as well. So there was a lot of Kingdom Hearts games. They even remade Chain of Memories as well. So like there's a lot of Kingdom Hearts games. It's not usual for the series to be taking this long. So it's frustrating. But anyway, let's get to the topic. In the same day that they announced the cancellation of Missing Link, they showed off new screenshots to Kingdom Hearts 4. So first of all, they showed that Mickey Mouse is playable. Now Mickey Mouse has been playable in previous games, but not like as a whole full character. It's usually been like a section. But it looks like you're playing as Mickey Mouse in a whole like level. It says one screenshot suggests that King Mickey may be a playable character playing possibly in a segment set in Scala ad Calum.
Scala
Scala ad Calum.
column
Calum. Oh.
at column.
Anyway,
I only remember because Xehanort says it so proudly.
yeah,
Scala ad column.
I haven't played Kingdom
I
Hearts 4 in
believe.
so
I
long.
mean, I could be wrong. I'm excited for nerds in the comments to fucking correct me, but I believe it's Scala ed column, but I could be wrong.
All right, so you noted something, so go ahead and
Yeah, so every now and then I'm going to be really annoying, and I'm going to add some things to that Seb doesn't have here.
actually,
Naturally. I just want to note this is not the first time that Mickey has been playable. You were able to play as him, of course, in Kingdom Hearts 2 when Sora dies, more or less,
yeah,
and Mickey comes to bring him back.
I remember
And
that.
you have like a little mini game.
Yep,
And he kind of plays like Yoda from Attack of the Clones,
yep,
which is kind of crazy. And then in Remind DLC, he's also playable. But it looks like Sora's not around. So this would be, I believe, the first time he's playable without any kind of tie to Sora. I think even in the Remind DLC, Sora was nearby or something. But here it looks like, or at least they were in the same realm or world. But here it looks like Mickey's in Scala while, Sora's obviously in Shibuya.
yeah,
So the speculation from me and maybe other people and other people is that maybe Mickey has his own missions in between Sora's. Maybe we switch between Sora and Mickey and Riku. Maybe Kairi, God forbid Kairi gets a goddamn section besides Melody of Memory.
yeah.
Um, and the command menu does look pretty simple. So maybe there's not a lot of options for him. Maybe there's just like little mini sections. And I'll be here all week, folks. And but I don't know. It also could just be edited. I'll talk about that later. But some of these screenshots are obviously edited for the sake of spoilers and not giving
Sure.
away too much. So it could just be they only put attack on there.
Right. Another screenshot that they showed was Sora's new design, where he has like a whole brand new look. We saw that in the trailer we got a couple years ago. He had a smartwatch and he had a redesigned outfit. And he looks more grown up and he has like more of a modern look. But obviously, I know for a fact that in Kingdom Hearts, Sora changes whatever worlds he's in. So I knew that like Sora doesn't really look like that. I think when Sora goes to like back to his reality, he's gonna look like Sora that we all know. But I do hope, even with that said, I do hope that Sora looks older. Like I don't want to do. I don't want. I hope they don't pull the dream drop just distance thing again, where like Sora's like he's like 16, 17, but he's like in a 12-year-old body. Like I don't want to see that again. I do hope they give him like a more adult, not adult, but like more young adult look. Even though I know this one is more because the world he's in. So Dory, anything you want to know?
Yeah. No, I mean that you already pretty much addressed my note.
Yeah.
But yeah, this isn't permanent. Some people might be crashing out like, oh my God, Sora's gonna look like that all the time, and he's never gonna have his beautiful spiky hair back, anime pro tag hair back. But no, this is just because he's in Shibuya and he has a more quote unquote realistic look. But they've already confirmed there's going to be Disney Worlds. So, I mean, he'll have different hairstyles probably. And if he goes back to his world, yeah, like Seb said, he'll have his spiky hair back.
Isn't Shibuya the setting of Persona 5? I think.
Probably.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, we also got to see Heartless. There's like humanoid ones that look like Sora. There was like shield bearing ones, and then like the winged dark side Heartless. They also showed the Quadratum. Is that how you say it? Quadratum? Or
Yeah, Quadratum.
setting. It depicts Sora in a realistic cityscape, as we saw that in the trailer. and he's engaging in battles, and he's exploring like an urban environment. So he's like in a city. He's exploring that. There's also we also got to see some UI. The interface had like a new EX gauge. And Dory, what your note was?
Yeah, my note is that according to Gamers Joint, this is who's done Kingdom Hearts YouTube stuff for a long time now. The EX gauge is often just an example, AX ample,
Yeah,
that Square uses. So I wouldn't take that too much at face value. I also thought maybe it meant something, but then I watched Jared
sure.
talk about it, and yeah, it's just something they do. I think they just don't want to give away what it is, or maybe they don't know. They probably know at this point. I'd hope they know,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just an example,
I
just a little sample.
I do hope they slow down on the like the triangle button with like all the special moves you do because Kingdom Hearts 3 had so many of those moves. It was like the game was like super easy. It was like you could just spam those moves. I
Yeah,
lo-
unless you were playing on critical, you were not really going to have a bad time. I played it
yeah,
on normal, and then I played it on proud, and it really wasn't that tough.
yeah. I hope it goes more to like the Kingdom Hearts 2 side where Kingdom Hearts 2 had a lot of triangle button stuff too, but it was that was very well balanced, but Kingdom Hearts 3 was just too much of that. It was just too easy. All right, and then Dory also noted about a character that's in a screenshot, so go ahead.
Yeah, so Strelitza, this is one I'm going to struggle with. Strelitzia is shown in the first image from the left with an 11. I actually misread it. I thought it was a 9 at first, but 11 similar hair. Strelitzia was shown in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. This is where Union Cross unfortunately comes in. She is the sister of Marluxia's human form, Lorium, I believe. Fans have speculated she is also implied to be in Kingdom Hearts 3. She's like the girl that's mentioned in the dungeon or some shit. I don't know. It's dark, and I think she's one of the stars too that Sora talks to. That's just speculation though. Um, and then last note is that the build option from the menu looks to be possibly a way to do form changes, and the way that Sora has all these chain links around him and stuff like that could be a new form change as well, going back to the form changes we had in Kingdom Hearts 2 and kind of Birth by Sleep. They're trying to I think they're trying to mix up both of them together. But maybe it's just Kingdom Hearts 2 stuff. Either way, I'm down. I love both of those things.
Yeah, so that's everything from the screenshots. I mean, obviously, I'm really excited. Kingdom Hearts is one of my favorite franchises. I'm dying to get something. Maybe this is the year we finally get something from Summer Game Fest. I mean, Square Enix does their own thing, their own show. If not Summer Game Fest, Tokyo Game Show. But I feel like it's got to be something this year, like a trailer or something. But like, I want to see some gameplay. Like, I want to see if we see a trailer and it has like full voice acting and like scenes and stuff, then this game is close to coming out. Not this year, but I mean like it's got to be next year. I would think. If it depends what trailer we get. If it's a vague teaser again, where like we just get snippets and then it's quickly edited with like uh cryptic words, like the Kingdom Hearts riddles they put in there. Then
Yeah.
this game's far away. But if we get full on like scenes, then I think
Yeah.
it's close. Good.
I think that's what Square is waiting for, honestly. I really think that there is a pushback in the industry. I'm not saying it's everybody, but I think there's enough pushback from fans and even from devs that people are getting tired of seeing these trailers where the game's like coming soon or coming, 2026 or, fucking 10 years from now. And the game's just not at all ready. So I think Square just wants to wait until Nomura is sure that it's going to be out the door. Now, obviously, that makes for a frustrating experience because we're not getting shit. But maybe a necessary evil. I don't know. I'm not going to defend everything Nomura does, but it does have some logic to it. There's something else I was going to say too, but I don't remember what it is. But yeah, I do think we probably see it, if not at Summer Games Fest, then at Tokyo, like you said. And I'm desperately trying to remember what the heck I wanted to say. Oh, I think that it's very possible it'll come out, or certainly will come out in 2026. And if it does, of course, it'll be 7 years since Kingdom Hearts 3, which, 7 members of Light. 13 of Darkness, right? So I honestly, I wouldn't surprise me if there's a very small part of Nomura who's like, 7 years. He's like, let's delay it. Oh no, I accidentally deleted some code. Guess we got
Yeah.
to go back to 2026 now. But anyway, he's a madman. I love him. But yeah, I'm excited. I hope we hear from something about it soon, like you said.
It makes logical sense to me for Nomura to prioritize Kingdom Hearts 4 before Final Fantasy 7 Part 3. Like, just get it out of the
Yeah,
way now. Like, we're
yeah,
getting close to finishing it. Let's get this all done, and then we can go all hands on deck on finishing the trilogy for Final Fantasy 7. It just makes logical sense to me. So I think Kingdom Hearts 4 is the priority for Square Enix right now in that department for Nomura. All right, but obviously Square Enix is huge because they have a ton of franchises and they have multiple teams and stuff like that. But I think because Nomura is in charge of both projects, I think Kingdom Hearts 4 is a priority now, which is exciting. All right, moving on to our last topic of the night, which is Doom: The Dark Ages, which came out on. It was supposed to be Thursday, but it came out like Wednesday night, actually.
I
Like,
know it was a weird time that it came out. It came out early, and I was like, Doom came out, I think, at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday.
yeah,
I was like, I've never seen a company do this, but okay, I'm not complaining.
yeah, it had to be like 7 or 8 p.m. I was like, what? I can play this now, and then I played it that night.
Yeah.
So Doom: The Dark Ages is a prequel to Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, and you play as the Doom Slayer in a medieval setting, of course. Uh, but it's a mixture of like medieval and I guess like the modern the robots and you're fighting demons. It's barely medieval, really. It's just like kind of their excuse to give him old styled weapons because
Yeah.
that's as far as medieval as it gets, really. If you really think about it, it has a dragon, but it's not like a It's like a cyber dragon, so it's not really medieval, but it's still it's a cool
I
concept.
haven't seen anybody in a jester hat or somebody say in times of yore or anything like
Yeah,
that, so I'm not convinced this is the Middle Ages. I think everyone's at a Renaissance fair and Doomslayer got carried away.
but it is really badass. The first thing I would say about this game, and this is a huge praise for that, is that it's very metal. This is one of the most hardcore metal games. Like it's just badass. Like this game is very
Yeah.
badass. It's one of the most badass games. Doom games are always badass, and since I saw it, I always knew this game was going to be amazing. In terms of like the aesthetic and the metalness of it, and like killing demons with hardcore music, and it's going to be fun. I knew that was going to be that, and this is what this game is. I think there's not. I think there's flaws in this game. I don't think it's an amazing like 9 out of 10 game. I don't think it's like. I don't think it's a game of the year contender for me, but it's still really good. And the main thing is because it's purely fun. It's pure fun. Like it's really really fun. I have some issues with the gameplay a little bit, but in comparison to the other games, but I really think this game is really fun to play. Like, what do you think, Dory? Like, how do you feel about the
Yeah,
gameplay?
I'm having a great time with it. Honestly, this might be my favorite of the trilogy, and I think that's just because I like how streamlined it is compared to Eternal. I always felt like you were juggling too much in Eternal. You had to move too much. You had to platform. You had to do this, do that, do this, do that. And I've said this before, so I'm not going to try to relitigate it too much. But I just found Eternal exhausting. Now, definitely highly engaging, adrenaline pumping, like very, very fun, but exhausting. I really could not play the game for more than 3 hours. And I mean, I even have that issue sometimes with Doom: The Dark Ages, but I feel it. I think I feel it a little bit less, just because the combat is more slow and methodical. Now, don't get me wrong, you're still moving around. You still got the shield move that makes you move to like big, like take like a big dash over to an enemy or through environments. You still got a little bit of platforming here and there. Actually, before I forget, that's one of my big problems with the game, weirdly, is Doomslayer is kind of slippery. You can kind of stop at an edge and he'll slip, and I don't know if that's because he's heavy or what. It's happened to me like 4 or 5 times throughout the campaign where I'll judge a jump and I'll land and Doomslayer will go whoop,
Oh, really?
and it'll fucking what?
So I said, oh, really? I didn't. I haven't had that
Yeah,
problem.
it's really annoying, and like it's it was only a minor thing, but I kept noticing it over and over again, and I don't know what exactly it is, but it's like slippery shoes, like it's super annoying. But luckily, like the last two times it happened, the game was like, oh, we got you. Like there's like a blue thing that'll bounce me right back up,
Yeah.
or you know I can easily get back up or whatever. But generally speaking, I mean the movement's great, the combat is excellent. The core combat here is my favorite part of it. Obviously, I mean it's probably going to be anyone's. And there's other stuff around it, which I think we'll talk about. But yeah, overall, I'm having a really great time with it. I'm not saying it's like leagues better than Eternal or 2016 at all. But for me, it fits my style a little better. And I liked Eternal a lot, and I liked 2016. But I think this is the best in terms of meshing that old school Doom feel with new school Doom graphics, and I really like that. It really appeals to me.
Yeah, as Dory's talking about, this game is slower than Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal was more about the platforming and jumping around and juggling a bunch of guns. Like you do the same thing in this game with a bunch of guns, but it's not like Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal was very much you had to constantly move around, and or you would get overwhelmed. This game is purely focused on standing where you are and parrying things and blocking. You do move fast, relatively fast, but not like not like Eternal. You're like you this game you're typically blocking and parrying everything around you. So how it works is kind of like a bullet storm game where like
Yeah.
red lasers shoot at you and those of you block, and then you see green ones. You aim to parry those, and it will parry the laser back at the demons, and then you're in a constant state of shooting and juggling your guns and parrying using your shield, and it's really fun. It's a great time. It does get repetitive, but there's no way you can do this game without being repetitive. There's some
Right.
sections I don't like, but we'll talk about that later. But overall, I really like the more old school Doom style of this game. But I'm in the opposite end of Dory. I prefer Eternal more. Now I do agree that Eternal had too much going on with the juggling of the guns and there's like too many buttons to press and all that stuff. But like I just had more fun with Doom Eternal overall, even though I think this game is great. I think this is probably the weakest, or maybe the second. I kind of like Doom 2016 a little more too. So I guess it's the weakest as a 3 for me. But it's still like an 8 out of 10. So it's when I say weakest, I don't mean it's like bad or anything. It's a great game.
Yeah.
I think what happened. I think the problem I have with this game. I'll jump into the negatives a little bit.
Sure.
Is I don't like some of the level design. Like I don't like the dragon sections, for example. They don't play super well. I mean, it's not horrendous. It's fine. I just don't like it's not on rails, I guess, but it kind of is. And it just get repetitive. You're doing the same thing over and over again. Fight a flower, dodge the laser, shoot it, and then you go on these ships and you land on it and you fight like a boss like that has like shield around it, kill the enemies around it. It's the same
It
thing
feels
like
like
10
padding.
times.
It feels like padding. It feels like
Yeah.
they felt like the game, and the game's not short, even without these sections and without the story stuff, which we'll also talk about. I feel like this game would have easily been a 10-hour campaign, which is perfectly fine for Doom. You don't need it to be super long because the people who really want to go back and get those collectibles and secrets and they want to do an achievement or they want to go back and play it on Ultra Nightmare, but there's plenty to do here. There's plenty to replay. You don't have to pad it out. I found the on mouse and keyboard at least, I found the dragon awkward to control. I basically had to press both buttons at the same time and then also had to like press spacebar and arrows just to get what I wanted out of the combat scenario. Incredibly tedious. I would honestly even say it's borderline bad. It's not terrible, but
Just
I'm a little worse on it than Seb is, which is funny because I probably rate this game higher than Seb does, but that's just because of the overall core gameplay.
I would call it mediocre. That's how I would refer
Yeah,
it.
okay, I'd agree with mediocre. Yeah, it's just frustrating. I also feel like you hit those ships a million fucking times, and they're so fast. They take corners so fast. Like I've lost like 3 ships that if you shoot down, you get gold or whatever. I've also referenced Austin Powers. I love gold so many
Yeah.
times in this game,
Plus
but yeah, it's frustrating, and I don't care for it. I don't feel like it was needed. Whereas the Atlan stuff feels fun. I'm not gonna say it's incredibly deep, but it feels appropriate because we've seen mechs before,
yeah.
and we've seen like the Doomslayer like getting in various things and controlling creatures and stuff like that. Like it feels like a natural progression, whereas the dragon just kind of feels tacked on. I I'll never get over this. How the IGN reviewer noted it's completely counterintuitive that you're in this dragon and you're far away and you should be strafing and shooting and there should be all this freedom of movement, but instead you get in real close and you like just start dodging like it's a fucking rhythm game, and like it just, to me it's annoying. I just don't like it. It took me a while to get used to it, and once I did, I still didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with the controls. I just found it repetitive because like you did the same thing multiple times. Even the mech levels, which are a lot better but still not amazing,
Yeah,
they were repetitive too. It was like you're just boxing the robot and you dodge, and then and as soon as you do your dodge, you get like a special move, and then you just do the same thing.
I definitely got like FF16 vibes from this section, where
Yeah.
you're although I feel like that it was done better there, just because it was more
Well, he had more moves.
spaced out and you had more options. And
Yeah.
I don't know, but maybe I'm glamorizing
I
FF16, or I'm being nostalgic or something. I don't know.
I think the problem I have with these sections is that if it was like a one time thing, where it's a cool level, and then fine, that's I don't have a problem with that. But because you do this like multiple times in different levels,
Yeah,
it kind of
I think three.
affects the
I think
pacing.
it's three times. Yeah.
Yeah, it affects the
Yeah,
pacing.
yeah, and ironically, this comes from a desire from id Software to fix the pay. Like they're trying, what the intent is, I think, is to break up the core combat and make it so that you have different types of gameplay going on here, so the player doesn't get bored. But I mean, and I doubt anyone from id Software is listening, but hey, I like the core gameplay. I don't really want to go in this giant mech. I don't want to go on this fucking dragon that's here for no reason. No one else is using a dragon, by the way. You never see any other dragon used ever again. But and Seb and I are very far in the game, so I mean, maybe that changes in the last like 3 chapters, but I doubt it. But yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. This stuff just feels like unnecessary, and I just rather not have it.
Yeah.
I don't mind the Atlan stuff as much. Like Seb said, it's much better than the Dragon stuff, but it's just kind of like fine or good or whatever. But it just doesn't feel necessary. It feels like they're padding out the runtime, and it
Yeah.
just doesn't need to be, because even without this stuff and without the story, which I don't like,
Yeah.
it would still be like 10 hours.
Yeah. So let's talk about the story. Now, this game is very cinematic, especially in the first half. I noticed in the second half, there's not as much cutscenes. Like the first half of the game is very cinematic. Like it's almost like you got like 5 to 6 minutes of like cutscenes, and then like chapters, like I'm going off the top of my head, like 12 to like 20. There's very few like cutscenes. You're just getting right to the point. But either way, I don't care for the story at all. Like I just don't find anyone interesting. I find the human characters to be very generic looking. I feel like the demons I've seen like in many games, the main bad guy looks like a Gears of War villain. I'm not really invested in the origin. It's not really exploring his origin really. It's not really explaining anything. Like basically Doomslayer is like being controlled by like these alien or these demons, and eventually he breaks out, but like it's supposed to be an origin story. Like you're talking about him being a marine or anything like that. Like I just don't care for it. I'm not invested in any of the story. All I want to do is fight demons. Like it's not. I I don't mind the approach of being cinematic, but if you're going to be very narrative, cinematic driven, you should have better cutscenes and better dialogue and have a more interesting story. I don't really care for the story that much. What about you, Dory?
I mean, I'm gonna go further than you. Fuck this story. I hate it. I hate that Doom has a story. I hate the whole concept that Doom needs a story. It does not need a story. Here's the story. The Doomslayer, a very powerful guy, goes into hell, defeats the demons, comes back, saves the planet. That's it. That's why they couldn't make a fucking movie about it, because there's no goddamn plot here. It's just guy goes somewhere, beats bad guys, comes back a hero, is remembered
It's a,
forever. Let's make another one.
it's a very
That's it.
90s. It's a very 90s game. I mean, Doom is a
Right,
90s game,
right.
and
I
it's
mean, it
just
was a '90s game,
and yeah, it was
right?
a 90s game, and it was just about killing things. It was not.
Yeah.
There was no
There's no
narrative.
story. There
Yeah.
doesn't need to be. I don't need narrative. I feel like this is like I'm gonna be a fucking wrestling nerd here for a second, but this feels like the WWEification of the Doomslayer. I don't need a backstory. I don't need lore. I don't need a video package about how he came to be. I don't give a shit. I'm here to kill demons and shoot guns, and I'm not out of either.
I could.
So like,
Yeah.
it just pisses me off because it's just so unnecessary.
I could be more into it if it was just done better, but
Yeah.
it just they don't do it well. It's just
I just feel like
boring.
I feel like at this point there's no good way to make a Doom story because there's no story. But whatever. This is my pet peeve. I have this pet peeve with Eternal as well, although it was less pronounced there. It was more in Codex and shit like that.
I've seen people say that about Eternal. There's I definitely have problems with the Eternal's story as well, but I thought Doom Eternal did really cool moments where like the human characters were afraid of him and stuff like that. Like those were cool moments, I thought. But
it sucks. I'm gonna say it kind of sucks that you can't attack the humans at all, like ever. I like it's not a big deal. I'm not saying this ruined my immersion, but it is a little bit of a bummer. The Doomslayer doesn't care. I mean, like I guess he is fighting for humanity, kind of. But also, like, the makers are using him, right? I mean, they're controlling him, and the humans are allied with him. So you would think, I'm just going to say some story stuff. I don't really think anyone cares. But when he breaks free of their control, which is telegraphed very early on that it's going to happen. And if you know anything about the Doomslayer, it's obvious it's going to happen because you can't control the Doomslayer. Anyway, when it finally happens, you're like, oh, well, now he's going to go nuts on the Maker, and he's going to go nuts on the people that have been basically enslaving him, right? I mean, basically. But no, he does nothing. He just does what they want him to do anyway. So it's like, what was the point? So it's just, the story's stupid. It's unnecessary. I mean, if you got to have cutscenes, that's fine, but I just would rather it be dumb 90s action flick than trying to be cinematic. It just kind of sucks. It doesn't really take. I mean, it doesn't. I know I'm very harsh on it, but it's not like it destroys the game for me or whatever. But it is by far my least favorite part of the game. Like whenever there's a cutscene, I'm either actively rolling my eyes or just like looking away or looking at my phone because I'm like, I don't care about this. Like I just ignore it and I get to the gameplay, which I love.
It doesn't like ruin the game. It doesn't make it bad or anything. It just keeps it from being a game of the year contender for me, just because like I can point out the flaws. I also have some issue with the level design. I feel like it's too linear or too simple, and there are other times where like the marker's a little confusing where to go, and I'm like walking around figuring out what do I need to do. Now I'm not saying it's taking me like 25 minutes to 30 minutes or look. I have to look at a guide. I've never needed a guide for this game. It's not Metroid Prime, but it definitely has some issues where like it's not clear what they want me to do, or it's a little confusing where to go. But even then, the level design has some cool environments. But I've had more fun with Doom Eternal's platforming and all the crazy stuff you can do. And I enjoyed finding the secrets better in 2016 in Eternal than this game. I think the secrets just haven't hit for me as much, but not a big deal. I think the gameplay is really strong. So I don't think the level design is a huge con. I think it's just a minor thing for me, but it's still an issue a little bit. And I think what it really comes down to for the gameplay for people is whether you like the slower paced version of Doom than Doom Eternal, because I feel like that's going to be very subjective. I feel like people are going to really enjoy this gameplay more if they like the slower, like Dory, or some people are really going to prefer Doom Eternal. And this game's going to feel like a step down from that. So the slower pace is not so much a con; it's more of like a subjective pro or con for somebody. For me, I prefer Doom Eternal gameplay more, but I think the gameplay of this game is great. So I don't think that's really an issue. I think the level design is a little simple at times and linear. I mean, but it's not that big of a problem. I think also the controls are a lot more simple. Like I feel like the weapons are easier to navigate. There's not like a million buttons to press. I feel like it's very easy to switch to different weapons. I think the weapons in this game are fantastic. I love using all the weapons. I'm constantly rotating weapons. I especially love the weapon where you're shooting the the bones at people.
Yes.
That's my favorite gun. I've been using that one the most. But I also love I love in the grenade launcher, and I love the rocket launcher.
Yep,
And
those are great too. I really like the Impaler, which is basically the sniper rifle.
yeah,
And then I also really enjoyed the super. I know it's basic, but the super shotgun. I mean, it's it's beloved for a reason. And I also really liked, like you said, the Skull Crusher. That's one of my favorites too. It's just such a cool fucking aesthetic. Some of the stuff that Doomslayer does, especially late in the game,
yeah.
just really cool. I was wondering if you've had any performance issues. I've only had minor ones, and usually they're only if like a ton of stuff is going on the screen. I've been trying to like optimize my settings, but generally I get, I don't know, 40 to 50 frames per second. And then I've used a couple frame generation things to like up it to like, like closer to 100 or something. But yeah, I was wondering if you had any optimization. I had this weird glitch where I would like jump down from a high point. This happened like only twice, but it happened. I haven't had any crashes, by the way, just weird glitches or frame drops. But I had this thing happen where I would jump down from a high place, and only happened twice, like I said. And suddenly the Doomslayer would just be in slow motion, and my gun would fire in slow motion. And so I don't know what it was. I like messed around with settings. Eventually, it just fixed itself. But yeah, it was weird.
No, I've had zero performance issues this game. It's been near perfect, if not perfect. I've gotten about I'm playing on ultra settings on a 4080, and I've gotten 60 to 80 frames per second. It will drop from like 80 to 60 at times, depending on what's going on. I feel like there's too much going on, but there's so much action going on that I'm not noticing the frame rate drops. But for the most part, but it's never dropped below 60 though. I've always had 60 plus. Obviously, you can. When I first was playing it, I had it only at 60, where it was locked at 60. But then I turned it up, and it changed the whole game. Obviously, because I was playing in like I can play 120 frames if at
Right.
times. It changed the game a lot. But overall, the no, I've had zero performance issues. It's been perfect, pretty much. No
Yeah.
crashes, and the visuals have looked really good.
Yes.
They look great. I mean, the reflections in this game are amazing. Like ultra settings, this game is mind blowing. I heard people criticize the visuals on the consoles, but on PC it looks really good. Now, does it blow me away like Eternal and 2016 first did? No, but that's not the game's fault. I think it's because this generation's not been so much about graphics; it's been about performance. So I don't think games are this generation are going to take that next step where like it really blows me away in terms of visuals. It does. It's I've seen games look just as good. Like this game looks like other games I've played, so it's not like mind blowingly good looking, but it's definitely really good. It's just this generation is not so much about visuals; it's about the performance. And this game playing with a high visual fidelity in a high frame rate is where this generation shines in terms of performance. So,
I
uh,
will say another
but
minor negative is the soundtrack. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
I
I
jam
agree.
out to it. I enjoy it. But I mean, if you know anything about Doom and Mick Gordon and everything that happened there, they don't have the same guy they used to, and I
Yeah,
do feel like it kind of shows. Some of the tracks feel really repetitive and not kind of inspiring. No, I'm not gonna say they don't rip and tear. Like they feel appropriate. They're still like they still like are good to like move and groove to while you're shooting demons and stuff. But I definitely had some parts where I was like, I feel like I've heard the song a million times and it doesn't really do anything for me at this point. But it's a minor thing, but I just wanted to shout it out because it did occur to me.
I agree. I think the soundtrack is good but not great.
Yeah.
I feel like Doom 2016 Internal had phenomenal soundtracks that you can easily listen to the entirety of. But this one, there's a song or two that I like, but otherwise, I'm not really. It serves its purpose. It's a good soundtrack, but it's just not as legendary or as classic as other Doom soundtracks. You can definitely tell there's a big drop off from the last guy, as
Yeah.
Dory said. So I agree with you on the music. I think that's everything for me. Everything I
Yeah.
put down.
I got a couple other things I can say.
Go ahead.
So yeah, I did mention there's some minor frame drops and minor like weird glitches, but otherwise I've had really solid performance. And like Seb said, I swear I'll stop parroting you eventually. But there's like, because it's so fast and frenetic, I don't really notice the frame drops. Like, I have it in the top right where what my FPS is. It's so funny. You should, if you haven't, you got to look at what the game says if you are on Ultra Nightmare for frame settings. Or not frame settings, but like system settings. It's so hilarious. Takes up the whole fucking screen. It's just text, 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 numbers, numbers, numbers.
I did
I
that.
don't know who in the fucking world besides the devs themselves would need that kind of information. But either way, I just have it on low. I just have FPS. That's all I
PC
need.
nerds. PC nerds.
I guess PC nerds, yeah. So I have been looking at optimization, but I'm pretty much close to the end of the game. I've really liked, for the most part, how it's been optimized. I will say, we talked about the shield before. I love the shield. It's great. And I thought they were great with Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose. No, I'm kidding. As a wrestling nerd, I couldn't resist. But seriously, I mean, the parry is so good, especially off the back of playing Expedition 33, where Mael's "parry it" lives in my head rent free, and me dying over and over again. So to like just to be able to effortlessly parry demons is like, that's just amazing. Thank you, id Software. In general, honestly, the game feels more forgiving than Eternal did. I haven't gone to the final boss. I don't know if that changes. Maybe I'll hate the final boss just like I did in Eternal. But hoping this game finally breaks the streak on that. But
Yeah.
generally, yeah, there's a lot of accessibility features and stuff that I really appreciate.
Yeah, the accessibility options in this game are fantastic. I
Yes.
think. And I like how pronounced it is. Where like before you even start the game, it shows you all the settings you can mess around with, whatever works for you. And I like that kind of stuff. Which is all
Yeah.
people are gonna complain about that kind of stuff, but I think it's something that's totally optional and you can easily ignore.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
It's
people,
nothing worth complaining about.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll say, contrary to what Seb said, I like. See, I said I'd stop doing it eventually. Is that paths? I like that paths can be slightly open or slightly narrow. I feel like there's a good mix of like battlefields, which are wide open spaces, and then there are other areas that are just like very narrow. Like there's some sides and stuff. I do think though that makes it funny sometimes, especially in narrower areas. Where it's like, you found a secret, and I'm like, I looked literally to my right, and there was a trail of gold leading me somewhere.
It's linear.
So
Yeah.
so there's definitely like linear moments where I'm like, I don't really feel like this was a secret, but whatever. And yeah, that's all my thoughts. I really like this overall. It's probably gonna make my top 10. It's a really great game. It is my favorite of the trilogy just because of this core gameplay. But I don't really like the story at all, and I don't care for the dragon stuff, but I do like the Atlan stuff, the Atlan combat sections, and overall, this is a really great time. It's not like an amazing time. I'm not going to remember this forever or whatever, but I really enjoy what id Software put together here, and it's great to finally play a brand new game that my laptop doesn't hate because it's not running an engine that needs a lot more optimization. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a great game. I don't think it's a phenomenal game. I don't think it's a game of the year contender, but I think it's a great game.
No.
I think it's an 8.5 for me, because largely because the gameplay is really good. I think the aesthetic, the visuals, the gameplay, just the badassery of it is really fun. Like it knows it's a bad like it I think it knows even though it has story problems. I think it knows that not to take itself too seriously. It knows what people want. That's why I do think some of the forcing all these cutscenes were a little jarring because even it's kind of fighting with itself, where it's like it knows that you want to play as a badass Doomslayer fighting demons, and the story doesn't take itself seriously, but at the same time it's taking itself seriously. So like they should have just took it out or simplified it. I don't know. Either way, I do think the story is a big problem for the game, and I do think some level design and the music's not as good, and the dragon sections that we talked about are not as good. And that's what keeps it from being like a 9 out of 10 for me or higher. So I think 8.5 is a fair score, and it's not like I'm way out of base because the Metacritic was like what 86, 85, something like that. So
yeah, it's 80. I believe it's 85.
So my score lines up with what reviewers are saying. So
I would agree with an 85.
Yeah, I feel like so it's in my top 10. It will probably be in my top 10, maybe at the bottom of my top 10. because I really had a great time with it. I mean, I'm I, I'm curious how it plays on the higher settings because I feel like it's not that hard. Like it's no, like, I feel like it's a nice pay. It has a nice difficulty to it, where it's not like too hard. It's not too easy. It's like you have your moments where you definitely get overwhelmed, but otherwise, I think it's very fair and it keeps the pacing constantly good. I think I'd be frustrated. I feel like if I was dying a lot, this game would not be as fun. But I think it's a nice pace on the normal difficulty. Anyway, 8.5 is what I say. So it's a great game. I recommend it to everybody. It's on Game Pass. I got it on Steam. It is $70 though. Just be mindful of that if you're gonna play this game. It is day. If you want to play it day one, it is $70. You can get the Steam key for like six. I think it was like $58 or 63 or something like that. Or you can just wait for a sale. It kind of borders on a wait for a sale if you really want to buy it, but it's Doom, so it's your choice. The length is anywhere from 13 to 17 hours, I believe. But you can beat that you can beat this game faster if you speed run. Cause I was kind of there was times where I was speeding through it where like I didn't have to fight some of the enemies. I was just going right to the
Yeah,
portal.
you
And
can really just run right by them.
yeah. So you can also skip every cutscene. So if you really don't care about the story as well, like you can speedrun this game.
Yes.
This game's gonna be a fun game to watch speedrunners
I'm
do.
so I was glad you said that. I had that thought. I'm so excited when speedrunners break this game open. It's going to be awesome. They've already done it to Eternal, and
Yeah.
id Software had to fix some stuff here and there
Yeah.
because they just had some crazy skips. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be great. I'm really excited to see people bust this wide open and see these runs probably at AGDQ.
Yeah. Totally agree. All right. I think that wraps everything up. Any last closing
Yeah.
thoughts, or you're all good?
Everybody go watch Andor if you haven't been keeping up. Season 2 is incredible. It's probably the best TV that Star Wars has ever done, if not definitely.
No,
I'm
definitely.
struggling to think of anything they've done that's better. And then maybe the best Star Wars media of all time. I mean, it's definitely in that conversation, maybe like top 3 or something.
It's
But
it's the best Star Wars media since Empire Strikes Back. It's like that level of masterpiece. Like
yeah,
it's gonna be it's almost impossible to top. Like it's so sophisticated. I know if you go into the show expecting like a lot of action, you're gonna be disappointed. But the writing and the political themes and the dialogue are like seasons 1 to 4 Game of Thrones. Like how good they were back then. It is that level of quality.
yeah,
So yeah, I
absolutely.
totally agree.
But yeah, go check out Andor. Just a random aside. And I'm probably gonna finish Doom tonight. And actually, it's funny. I was playing before I was playing Doom. I was playing Tell Me Why. So I'll go back to Tell Me Why after playing Doom. So
Yeah.
fighting very different kinds of demons.
So
I actually think I prefer the ones in hell.
so this so now that Doom is gonna be finished tonight for me. This wraps up like my new games for like a month or so, where like I'll be playing my backlog for quite a while.
Yeah,
Because June, like I said, doesn't have a lot in it besides like Stellar Blade for me. Like, because I don't want, I'm not getting Death Stranding until it comes to PC, and then Mario Kart is not like a game where you put 1,000 hours into. It's more for family and stuff. So June is a backlog month for me, and it's only mid May, and then my gaming time is gonna seriously open up now because I'm in the last 2 weeks of school now. Starting next week is basically the final regular week, and then I have a 4 day weekend because it's Memorial Day on that Monday the week after, and then I have 2 months off of summer, so I'll have a lot of gaming time coming up. I plan it that way, where like I still get a lot of game time in though. Honestly, I mean I beat 34 games this year, which is a lot. I mean last year I definitely was not beating a lot of games. I fell off, but this year. Although to be fair, I did pad it out with Resident Evil games that I can beat in 2 hours. So, but even way, I played a
I
lot of
padded
new
it out with
games.
indie games that you can beat in like 2 hours at the beginning. So
But I did beat a lot of new games this year, and some of them were quite long. Like Kingdom
yeah,
Come Deliverance, for example, or in Avowed and Oblivion. So like I definitely put some serious hours into some of these games. All right, so it's good. It's nice to go back to the backlog for a little bit now.
yeah.
Play whatever I want. Anyway, thanks for joining me, Dory. You have a good night and take care, everybody. And I like that we did a short episode. It was only an hour long. So
I know. Honestly, when you were like, oh, that's it for me. I'm quickly like, I have a couple things. Let's not go under an hour because I didn't want to go under an hour. I wanted at least to be an hour, but
so
yeah.
so I think next week I will be talking about Captain Blood, which I have played a little bit, and
Okay.
it's really fun to play. But otherwise, we're probably gonna have a couple discussion topics the next couple weeks, or
Sure.
a month or so, because
Yeah.
there's
It's that kind of time of year before Summer Games Fest where there's
yeah.
not going to be a lot to talk about until that
And once
happens.
we get to Summer Game Fest, it's gonna be less spotlighting and discussions about newer games. It's gonna be more about news, very news heavy.
Yeah. Very
So
news heavy.
all
But
right,
yeah, that's typically how it is.
yeah.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Let me hopefully I did turn down my mic so it's at 80 out of 100, so it should be okay. It's not usually hitting yellow if I'm talking normally. So,
Yeah, I sounded a lot quieter today, which is which
and
is great.
I also put my AC on low instead of high, so that should have helped too.
All right,
All
Dory.
right, I'll talk to you soon. I got to
Bye.
take Zena out.
Bye.
Bye.